Good evening. I'm Brady Alderson, and the Sports Ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. The Nebraska baseball team continued their hot start to their season, earning their first top 25 ranking of the year after a sweep of Wichita State and a series win against Michigan. The Huskers are 18-6 overall with a 5-1 record in conference play. Nebraska's next test will be a weekend matchup against Kansas State before Indiana comes to town for a 3-game set next weekend. The Husker softball team is also having an impressive season as they have opened their year 24-5 and are ranked 8th in the country. One of the key contributors to their success this season is senior Jordy Fromm, as she earned another Big Ten Pitcher of the Week honor earlier today. Fromm is the third Husker pitcher to earn weekly conference honors, joining Alexis Jensen and Hannah Kamenzen. Nebraska softball is back in action this weekend for a heavyweight duel against 7th-ranked UCLA. The Sports Ticker was brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the retirement compass. Visit StonebridgeIWM.com. Coming up next is Hour 1 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
4 on the shot clock, in the paint, shot on the way, no good. Rebound Nebraska, Huskers have it, 9 seconds left to go. Well, across the timeline, Price to Frager. Layup, yes! Yes! It's good! 2.2! It's good! With 2.2 to go, Nebraska 74. Vanderbilt 72. We're going out of our gourds here in Oklahoma City. Holy smokes!
Big Binder comes set. First pitch. Buck swings and crushes one to left center field. Will it carry out of here? Absolutely. Grand slam, home run, Jet Buck. And the boys are banging the bongos here in the top of the 9th inning. The 4th homer of the day, and the Huskers lead it 9-4 here in the 9th.
Cassidy brings it in, and Crom swings and drives it. Center field and deep and long gone. Jordy Fromm with a 3-run home run. 13-0 Huskers.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome to University of Nebraska basketball. Kent Pavelka along with Coach Jeff Smith. We are back in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, with the Huskers of Nebraska getting set to play the Vanderbilt Commodores of the Southeastern Conference in round 2 of the NCAA tournament.
And we've only got 11 seconds on the shot clock. Sam mishandles it again. Now drives, kicks, deep left corner 3, up and good! Guess who? Bill you can tell. Holy smokes, boom shakalaka out of the gate. Buchensel, bounce pass, right side, squaring, shooting. Good, 3-ball! Mast, Rick Mast, his 48th 3 of the year, and Nebraska's up 8 to a goose egg. By Sanford, inside the free throw circle. Pass left side, Mast off the pass, puts it up and in, back-to-back threes by Mast. It's 11-2. Mast lights it up from distance, got the pass from Hoiberg. Hoiberg across the timeline, calling out the play. Tapping the top of his head. There's a back cut and another layup up and good. And an end run. 13-4. Jamar backdoors him. Sanford out to Mast. Ball knocked free. Got it back. 10 on the shot clock. Here's Price with a drive and the step back and the 3 on the way. Money ball. Nothing but net for Price Sanford. Boy, he is good, isn't he? First team all Big Ten. Jamar's got it. Comes right to left. Has 2 screens. Switch defensively. Left corner 3. On the way. Got it. Burying it is Berkay. You can tell. Boom. Shakalaka Berkay.
We're in one of the last media timeouts. I think we were down a couple of points. I was feeling really tired. I just thought back to the summer workouts, and that's the reason we did this, was for this time of the year to stay mentally tough. But yeah, I mean, it was a physical game. Really good team, and I'm just really proud of everyone staying together, and that's what we've done all year.
Mast, elbow right side, down inside Berkay, double pump, puts it up and in. He put that puppy in off the window. And Nebraska takes The 68-67 lead. We've got less than 2 minutes to go, my friends, here in Oklahoma City. At stake is trip to the Sweet 16 for the Cinderella of Cinderellas in college basketball. Comes left to Hoiberg. Versus right side to Jamar. Goes to the sideline, doubled, kicks it. Mast's 3 on the way. Rims out, now good. Put back up, bye-bye. Sammy, my boy. My boy, Sammy.
Came down with the rebound. I got it. Saw some numbers that we had. Then came off that ball screen and saw Braden standing there wide open. He was screaming at me for the ball. So I knew he was about to go make a play.
4 on the shot clock. In the paint. Shot on the way. No good. Rebound Nebraska. Huskers have it. 9 seconds left to go. What across the timeline. Price to Frager. Layup. Yes. Yes. It's good. 2.2. Nebraska 74. Vanderbilt 72. We're going out of our gourds here in Oklahoma City. Holy smokes!
Price's play to Braden at the end of the game was just unbelievable with 9 seconds left. The question, do you call the timeout? But I thought we had numbers, and they all ran at Price, probably rightfully so, with what he does offensively, and he just made a great play to Braden, and then Braden did the rest.
We stuck together when we got down late there, and I think that's what we've been doing all year, is just sticking together, and I think that's what's going to make us, that's what makes us so special.
O'Carroty will throw it in. Handed the ball. Gets it in. 2 seconds. Half-court shot on the way. Oh, my God, it's no good. Oh, my Lord. In and out at the buzzer. Nebraska to the Sweet 16. It is a miracle finish for Nebraska. And it was destined to happen. It was destined to happen. Nebraska's going to the Sweet 16. A half-court miss by Tanner, and it was halfway, 3/4 of the way down. It popped out, and I have never broadcast a game like this in my lifetime, and I've done this since 1974.
It's March Madness. In this tournament, you have to win a game where you take a gut punch in that journey on that road towards the Final Four.
Oh, it was just so fun and incredible. We had to relive it with the excellent montage compilation put together by the great Josh Hilkelman. But the sounds of Ken Pavelka and Jeff Smith and just all of the victorious Husker basketball headed to the Sweet 16. How about that? Nebraska basketball in the Sweet 16. I just can't say it enough, Kyle.
Yeah, you got to take me through it. We'll get to the game. We have an hour before we have the baseball show coming up a little past 7. Coach Bolt and Ben, you got to take me through what Oklahoma City was like, because you were there. You were in the arena, but not just in the arena. You were in the streets, right? You were out there and just walking around outside the arena. It was truly an invasion.
It was incredible from Wednesday when you started seeing Husker fans rolling in, to Thursday to Friday, and then all the way through Saturday. And it was something I will never forget. And again, a city that I lived in, that I spent a lot of time in, that is my home state, that a building that my team plays in, that I've talked about that. A year ago almost, I watched an NBA team win a Western Conference Finals that went on to win an NBA championship that matched, that atmosphere matched a Western Conference Finals, and the loudness, and it just was incredible. And from start to finish, I mean, it was magical, and I will never forget it. And I think, just everybody that I know from Oklahoma City that got to experience it, whether they were in the building or just around Oklahoma City, that didn't really, they obviously appreciate me working in Nebraska, and know they've seen from the outside, Nebraska fans are great, and they have a great following, but I just don't think you get it until you're in it. And so when they were actually able to be in it for 5 days in Oklahoma City, I think they got it. And just having my friends and family just texting, my phone was blowing up, how incredible it was, how great it was, how much fun they were having getting to be around Husker fans and at the bars and at the restaurants, and then people that were in the arena. I mean, there were local sports people, whether it be radio folks, writers, TV broadcasters, they were just there as fans. It's saying that it was one of the coolest sports experiences that they've ever had. And so I just could go on and on. I will never forget it. It was definitely one of top 5 sporting moments of my entire life, not just career, entire life. And it was really, really special. I'm so proud of Husker Nation, the way they showed out. And they certainly willed this team to victory. And they helped will this team to the Sweet 16. And so they made their mark on Oklahoma City. And I think that Oklahoma City has a special place. You heard me ask Chris Webber that if Husker Nation has a special place in his heart. I think everybody that got to experience that environment, Husker Nation left a special place in their heart.
Yeah, there's certain moments, and there's stories coming out of the weekend that bars ran out of beer and Busch Light. And all
and
these
then they had to
just
reorder, and then Go Big Red chants started ringing out at Toby Keith's Bar and Grill.
They just weren't certain bars weren't prepared for what was about to happen. And then at the 11-minute mark of the Texas A&M Houston game, there's a boisterous Go Big Red chant that breaks out in the middle of their game.
The two players, there are two players that were walking down the court from either team, both teams. They just started laughing. They were kind of like shaking their head. It was funny.
And it broke the decibel level meter from any Thunder game that's ever been played, and they won a championship. So that just, when we say sometimes it's lip service to say fan bases are the best in the country, sometimes it's pandering. Even Seth Davis, who's a college basketball analyst, national analyst, said, I think Husker fans are the best fan base in the country. And a lot of people said, you think.
You think.
But it's the reality when you see the way baseball travels. And we had a lot of Husker fans at Wichita State the week leading up because it was on the way to Oklahoma City. It's just volleyball selling out stadiums. And, it's just different. But to get to the game, I don't think I could breathe for the final 5 minutes of that game. And of course, the way that the final shot, Tyler Tanner lets it loose from half court. And of course, it's halfway down. There's a lot of talk around the PSI and some of the basketballs and the NCAA being a tad overinflated, and maybe that being the difference between Nebraska being able to find a way to get through. But credit to Price Sanford, every look that he got, I mean, it was hard to wiggle him free. And, when he made his mark in this game, Bearcase made his mark in the first 2 games. Difference, I think Rienk Mast is just such a difference maker, and that goes without saying. But him in these first 2 games, the way that he's been able to battle on the boards, and Sam Hoiberg, the point production is what it is, but what he continues to do, I think Chris Webber in your interview with him echoed it. He's the shortest guy on the floor, but seems to be around every single 50-50 ball, every single rebound. Yeah, he had 6 assists in the game against Vanderbilt, 4 rebounds. He's just in on everything, and the toughness and the grit, and then the elite coaching, right? That's where stands out for Nebraska this year. Fred's always been an elite coach. Nate Lenzer's always been an elite coach. They have an elite staff this year, and I think that goes not as talked about as much because we like to zero in on the players. But the adjustment they made in the last few minutes of the game, going to like a 1-3-1 zone, I think got Vanderbilt a little bit out of their comfort zone with some of their guards. And the job that they did, Tyler Tanner, he's a different level kind of guy. But Miles, the other guard, who's one of the best in the SEC, they really shut him down. He was 2 of 10 from the floor. Defensively, it's just an ultra-consistent team. And that's what in March gets you to the next weekend. Yeah, you need to score. But if you continue to defend at a high level, and that's what Nebraska's done, and now it collides these 2 absolutely hated rivals for a third time who played the same way in the sense that they defend their faces off, Nebraska and Iowa. Iowa wants to slow you down. Nebraska wants to speed you up. But this is going to be a game that I would imagine is probably going to be decided in that turnover column. Who gets the extra possessions down the stretch?
402-413-2400. What'd you think of Oklahoma City? What'd you think of the game? What do you think about the Sweet 16 matchup with Iowa? We want to hear from you tonight. I'll be here for the next. Well, actually, Kyle, you're out too. Ben McLaughlin going to be here with Coach Bolt coming up for now moving forward our regular scheduled Will Bolton baseball show on Monday evenings moving forward here for the next several weeks. So we'll have that every Monday coming up for you. So for the next hour, though, we'll talk hoops. So lots to get to. Got some questions. No, I did not jump in the canal. That's been a big storyline too. Apparently, they're putting up signs now that you can only jump in the canal after NBA championships. But that was a pretty big storyline. And then what was the other one that was asked? Oh, about the decibel readings. So I don't know. I just saw some reports of that, but I can just tell you that there were lots of people that were in that building that go to Thunder games regularly that said it compared. I've been to Thunder games regularly. My brother goes to regular Thunder games. It compared. So I don't know about the breaking the record about, I don't know if that's true or not, if it was just an Apple Watch. I actually have not looked into that, but I guarantee it was close. If it didn't actually break the record, it was close. And the actual atmosphere and how loud it was absolutely compared to a Thunder playoff game. I've been there. My brother's been there. I've talked to several folks that have been to games, and so it absolutely compared. So, yeah, it was
and
incredible.
the fans didn't sit. That's another aspect of it.
It was no sit Saturday.
They could sense how much this meant to them and to this team, and they were going to do everything in their power to will them to a win.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were an absolute difference maker, and we'll see how many make the trip to Houston.
What was special too about just going back to the game and this one in particular is I think we've seen some times where throughout this season that maybe Price was the superstar. I mean, he was in the first game, and then we've seen Braden Frager go off. We've seen, Rienk have his games. We've seen Sam have his games, but there were moments for everybody that they contributed. I mean, it was Rienk came out and set the tone, and then you had Frager started getting to the rim, and then Sam had his big moments at the end to really kind of will this team to victory. And then you had Frager delivering, and Price hit some shots and it took Price didn't hit one until midway through the first half. So I just and you were looking at the box sheet, and you saw one guy scoring a lot for Vanderbilt, and you saw 8, 9, 9, 10 for Nebraska, and so it was just a very balanced attack that. It took everybody, all hands on deck. And so I thought it was special that, this team has found a lot of different ways to win. And I think that's, that has paid dividends here for them to get here to the second weekend of March. And they've had to win two different ways here.
Yeah, how about, Berke hit two monstrous threes in the game. Jamarcus had foul trouble but was efficient. Rienk you could feel like his shot starting to feel a little bit better. He was efficient from three. And like you said, Price didn't get unlocked until about halfway through the first half. But all of the 3 threes that he made, if I remember correctly, were really tough looks. I mean, not a whole lot of space. And then Hoiberg, his putback late. And then Frager, credit the coaches too, and specifically Fred, for not calling a timeout on that last possession, letting it play out. And then Frager has the presence of mind as a freshman, as a young guy, to take it to the rim and score. And then, obviously the crowd goes crazy, but everybody has played a part. And it's very tough to get to a Sweet 16 when you play a shorter rotation. You could sense this wasn't the game for Jared Garcia. They even played Leo Curtis a couple of minutes, who probably didn't imagine he would play in the second round of the NCAA tournament, but we saw what he did against Michigan. So you never know who's going to play, but at most points it's going to be a 7, maybe 8-man rotation. So it's, these guys know how many minutes and the energy that they're going to have to exert. And this was an all-timer. This was the best game of the tournament. I know St. John's and Kansas was a really good game that kind of came down to the buzzer yesterday, but just big-time elite shot-making down the stretch from both teams.
Yeah, a good point here by Dan Coyote on the chat as well. Just Coach Hoiberg leaving Frager in that game with Troy and letting him continue to build that confidence. And while Frager didn't shoot hardly any threes at all, because they knew, Jeff Smith, he's excellent, by the way. You want to talk about somebody that knows basketball, knows this basketball team so well. We are so fortunate to have him here on the Huskers Radio Network. But I talked to him pregame, and I asked him who the X factor would be. They knew that Braden Frager would be a problem. And I think we saw that they couldn't match up with him because their guards were too little, their bigs were too slow. And so you saw him immediately how aggressive he was getting to the rim. He took it coast to coast a couple times. And he didn't even really shoot, threes until I don't think he even shot a 3 in the first half. If he did, it was only 1 at the end of he didn't have a 3-point field goal attempt, I don't think, till the end of the first half. And so they knew that was going to be key. And so you saw him playing really confident. And so I think that was something that they addressed in practice. They watched in film. I told you, I don't know if I told you this because I didn't want to put it on blast while we were broadcasting on Sports Nightly, but I was up there on the 14th floor right in the team area, and they were diving into film while we were on Sports Nightly on the air on Thursday night. 4 hours after the game? So I think they recognized that on film. They got right into it, and I think they instilled a lot of confidence in Frager going into it, and so he knew what he was capable of, and boy, he did it.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about him not settling, because he's such a guy who is aggressive, can get to the rim, can finish at the rim. Also, we know what he gives you on the defensive side. And I think, too, a key to now this second weekend, can you unlock Sam a little bit more on the offensive end in terms of, because he's a slasher, somebody who can get to the free throw line. If you could get him to get inside the paint more, be a little bit more aggressive offensively. You only took 10 foul shots in this game. They took 9 more foul shots than the Huskers. Everybody wants to get up in arms about Jamarcus Lawrence double dribble on the breakaway layup. It's a 2-point game. That's 2 points right there. But they missed 8 foul shots. Like, there's a lot of different things that you could look at in a close game that Vanderbilt could have done differently to win the game. But you know, I still look at, you got a lot out of Burke, you got a lot out of a lot of different guys, and even you didn't get a whole lot out of Cale Jacobson too in the second game against Vanderbilt. So that's somebody that you would imagine is going to play better. And there's not a whole lot of preparation that I think is going to be needed for either one of these teams. The personnel knows each other really, really well. They know the schemes. They played in the final day of the regular season. So there's not a whole lot different that these teams are going to see that they haven't seen already when they've played each other twice.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. All right, got to get to a break. More of Sports Nightly coming up right after this.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Once a year, a rhythm thunders across the countryside. It can't be tamed. It can only be driven. It's Ford Truck Month. Let's ride. These trucks, they haul, tow, and conquer everything in their path. So hold on tight and drive the Stampede.
The Stampede is running at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing for 60 months plus $1,000 cash on Super Duty.
Get to Ford Truck Month.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. And now, introducing the starting lineup of your Nebraska Huskers. Starring Allo Fiber. At number 1, Allo Internet. At number 2, no satellite dish required. DirecTV through Allo. And at number 3, Allo Mobile. Allo Fiber, the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of Husker Nation. Level up your game and go to allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
It's another new year and another exciting edition of the Nebraska Lottery's popular Cash Blast promotion. You know how it works. Until March 24th, buy a 2x2 ticket and get a voucher. Enter online for a chance to win a $5,000 or $500 weekly prize. And if your winning voucher is from a 7-day draw ticket, your prize is doubled. So start out your 2026 with a bang. Enter the Cash Blast promotion today. 2x2 top prize odds are 1 in 105,000.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. John in Omaha on the text line chimes in. I've had enough of the double dribble talk from Lawrence. The amount of holding that was happening from the Vanderbilt defense was amazing. So proud that we overcame that and didn't lose our composure. Go Big Red. Again, that was from John in Omaha again. And I think Cindy on the chat also chimed in and said there was an obvious travel from Vanderbilt too on a possession. So yeah, there was multiple possessions.
The biggest enemies in any building are the officials. So I don't envy the officials after any game, especially that one when it's 98% Husker fans. Look, Nebraska, credit to them, right? Because the way you look at it, they hadn't been playing their best basketball to end the regular season. I think there were a lot of questions, especially when you lost in the first game you played in the quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament. It's sort of like, oh dear goodness, like, are we going to go 1-and-out in the NCAA tournament? But I think it also speaks to how good the Big Ten is, to how it's prepared Nebraska. 6 of the 16 teams in the Sweet 16 are from the Big Ten, right? So that tells you a lot about everything you need to know about this conference that Nebraska finished second and how it's prepared them here to potentially go to a Final Four.
All right, I did get a chance to chat with a couple of the guys post game. So let's hear from Braden Frager. If you guys have that one ready, queued up. You got it ready? Sorry. All right, let's hear from Braden Frager post game. Well, Braden Frager, the man of the hour. How you feeling right now?
I feel pretty good. I'm gonna go get some rest and move on to the next one. We can only think about this for so long. Unbelievably happy, but I just got to move on.
Take me to that last possession. Price gives you the ball. What's kind of going through your head?
I knew everybody in the arena, players, fans included, were all looking at Price, and I saw the whole team run towards him. I was screaming for the ball because I know how to open lane. He made a super unselfish play and just threw it to me, and I just went and got a wide open layup.
How did that feel? Once it goes in and you guys take the lead.
It was unbelievable. I didn't really have time to react at first because I didn't know we had to get back on defense still. But then they called a timeout, so then it was just the emotions. It was just crazy.
From the start, you're really aggressive getting to the rim. How much was that a game plan going into that? Did you feel like that could be something that you could provide for this team?
No, I feel like a lot of teams, especially with the bigger guys guarding me when we go smaller lineups, I can really attack their feet. So that's just what I've been doing. I feel like I've been really having a lot of success with doing that.
How would you describe just the balance in the overall team effort? Everybody contributed tonight.
Yeah, it was definitely an emotional win. We all came prepared. I don't think one person did any better than the other. We always talk about our one fist. It's not going to work if only 4 of the guys out there are doing their own. We had to have 5 out of 5 guys out there, so that's just what it took.
You guys had the lead almost the whole way. They take the lead. I mean, take me inside the huddles. I mean, what was this team feeling? You've been in these moments. Was there any panic at all? I'm assuming not.
No, I mean, the crowd was getting into it and everything. I mean, but we didn't panic at all. That's the thing. We just stayed composed. We just knew it was just like, I think it was like the under 12 media that we just had to like be ourselves, and it was under 8. I think we were still down, and by that under 4, it's just like we really got to lock in. I mean, Sam, Rienk, they made some unbelievable plays down the stretch, and I think that's what really carried us over that lump right there. And once we got the lead, I knew we were going to be calm and composed enough to keep that lead.
Nebraska kid, not only do you win the first NCAA tournament game for the program, and you deliver the game-winning shot. I mean, it's what dreams are made of. How would you just describe these last few days for yourself?
No, I mean, it's been unbelievable. I mean, a big shout out to all the fans. Shout out to my friends and family who came out to support. I mean, it's an unbelievable feeling. I mean, it wasn't just that one play. I know it was like the big play, but I mean, everybody chimed into that. So it was just like we all made pretty big plays. It's just probably not going to get as magnified as that one.
How did it feel going around the arena thanking Husker Nation?
I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, I don't think we would have done it without them. I don't think we would have kicked Troy's butt like that without them, and I don't think we would have got it done without them. So, I mean, it's just another home game for us, and I feel like it'll be the same down in Houston.
Yeah, I think they'll travel well. And it's on to the next, right? You guys have that same mentality and have all year.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we're going to celebrate here tonight. We got a little longer to celebrate, so, I mean, tonight, maybe a little bit into the morning, but once you figure out how we're playing, it's all business from there. I mean, we're going to go down to Houston. It's going to be a business trip, so we're prepared.
Great stuff. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
I thought it was funny, too, that Price said as loud as it was in that arena that he had no problem hearing Braden hollering for that ball. And Price, look, everybody thought it was Price going to pull that final shot, but Price gave it up. And that's what this team has done from the start. They've made those extra passes, and so it has made them so fun to watch.
And again, not calling that timeout, trusting your team that they're going to get the best look, that they're going to make the best decision, not stopping the momentum of the game. You had a clear advantage, it looked like, on that breakaway. And Frager, again, what it takes as a player to knowing in that situation that the game is essentially in your hands to then take it to the rim and then finish. And then, of course, the ending of the half-court shot almost going down. But I can only imagine, like you said, it's what dreams are made of. He quite literally had the game-winning shot to send Nebraska to their first ever Sweet 16. That is always in the resume for Braden Frager.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So cool. So cool. So, yeah, so the team will head out tomorrow, and I will be headed down with the guys with the travel party once again. So leaving, I think, a little bit afternoon tomorrow, so assuming they'll practice once again in the morning, do their typical nice dinner tomorrow night, and then they'll practice again on Wednesday and do the shoot around, all that good stuff, and, yeah, do the final preparation.
The welcome at LNK Airport?
It was awesome. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That you could see a lot of people there.
Yeah, it was really neat. And, they were tired, and it was late night, and it was, because the first game, that Texas A&M game went, and Houston game went longer than the tip-off that pushed our tip back. And then, by the time we got out of there, it was late, and then we left about 9:30, or the buses pulled out about 9:30, and so, and talking with Rienk, he said, yeah, we need a couple days to kind of get our bodies back again. That was a really physical game. So hopefully they've been kind of taken care of, which they always do, and they'll be ready to go. But traveling down tomorrow, so we'll be bringing the coverage for you. No Sports Nightly tomorrow because we'll have baseball in the air, but we'll have all the coverage. I'll be in Houston on Wednesday. And then, tip-off, we'll have the game on the air on Wednesday here on Sports Nightly.
We're not doing Sports Nightly instead of the game?
No, we're not.
Okay.
We're not going to do dual broadcast. And then, hopefully I'm not here for the spring game. So
that's right. So you're hopefully you're in Houston all the way through Saturday, right? So be Thursday, Saturday. We'll get back on Sunday.
Yep.
So I hope that you packed for a long time.
I am. I'm packing for, once again, like 6 days. So
I looked up the drive from Lincoln to Houston. I said, is this something Husker fans can do? It was like, was it 12 hours? Did I have that correct? The drive from here to Houston. So I'm like, some of the fan base will do that, but I'm sure that the flights and those are starting to get booked, and a lot of the prices on those flights have gone way up.
Yeah, for sure. So in Iowa, the Iowa women, this here's an interesting tidbit. The Iowa women lost today. So was kind of hoping that they won so it would split the basketball fan base, but the women lost. But at least Husker Nation got the first jump on the tickets.
Yeah, I would say Iowa's going to be there. I mean, they haven't been to Sweet 16 since, what was it, 99 was the last Sweet 16 they've gone to. So Ben McCollum, credit to him. I mean, I know Husker fans don't necessarily want to hear it, but he's been a winner every single place that he's gone. It was at Northwestern Missouri State, and then Drake, was that his last stop? Drake was and he's been a consistent winner, and to see what he's done in just limited time here at Iowa has been really, really special. And to think that, I mean, this is the matchup. Could you have ever dreamed in a million years if I told you in October the Sweet 16 would be Iowa against Nebraska?
No, but you know what? It just kind of continues to add to this movie-like season, beat Iowa to go in the Sweet 16. To go to the Elite Eight?
I mean, that's true. I mean, and the rivalries there, again, the personnel knows each other, the Price storyline of having played there and Price's brother. Now, I know he was there rooting for, of course, his brother in OKC, and now he's sort of caught in between. It's just there's so many different storylines going back to that first game in Iowa City that was one of the lower points of this season for Nebraska. And then the height of senior day and how that finished, and the fact that you're going to get a rubber game with the most important game in program history for Nebraska against a rival is just, I mean, you can't script that.
All right, got to get to a break. More coming up right after this.
Every machine has a story. Early mornings, long harvests, years of hard work. When the time comes to sell, AuctionTime.com helps make sure the world sees that equipment. Whether you're selling one piece of equipment or planning a retirement auction, start by knowing what it's worth. At Auction Time, we'll help you start with a free equipment valuation and plan the best way to sell. Call 402-458-4570. That's 402-458-4570. AuctionTime.com. Local expertise, worldwide buyers.
Find your next SUV from Woodhouse Chevy. It's the perfect time to upgrade your drive with limited time offers available now. Lease the 2026 Chevy Traverse for $579 a month for 39 months, 10,000 miles per year, or save up to $4,000 off MSRP. Shop online or in-store today. Woodhouse Chevy. Together, let's drive. With approved credit, retired courtesy loaner, tax title license extra, first payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Must trade a 2011 or newer vehicle. Finance based upon available rebates. Must be current Costco member. Expires March 31st, 2026. See dealer for details.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Shop Woodhouse Hyundai when looking for your next SUV. Right now, lease the 2026 Hyundai Palisade SEL, starting at $399 per month. And with Woodhouse Hyundai, you can rest easy with Hyundai Owner Assurance, America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get started online at woodhousehyundai.com or woodhouseplacehyundai.com today. 24 months, 7,500 miles per year with approved credit, tax title license extra, first payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Stock number H260279. Offer expires March 31st, 2026. See dealer for details.
From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. With Allo plus DirecTV plus Allo Mobile, you get the ultimate teamwork. Internet you can count on, TV you can stream anytime, anywhere, and nationwide coverage you can depend on. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers. Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Born with power. Tested by time. It's Ford Truck Month. And this is Ford F-150. Part of F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 49 years straight. Hop in and drive the Stampede.
Get $6,750 cash or 0 for 60 with 0 down and no payments for 90 days, plus $1,000 cash on F-150.
Get to Ford Truck Month.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles, or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Enhance your grilling game with a Nebraska-made grill from M Grills. Wood pellet and charcoal grills made to last with Nebraska values. Check them out at mgrills.com. A proud supporter of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. Got some guesstimations on what the crowd's going to be like down in Houston. And I was told, I was talking to Seamus last night. We were chatting about a few things, and I asked him that. And I think there's going to be 8,000 at least. Don't you?
8,000 Husker
fans. The arena seats 18,000. And I was told that, again, because Houston got the 2 seed and they knew that that was going to be their path, I was told that Houston got a lot of the tickets early in that area. So
that's already been bought.
But their arena is only 8,000. Like, they've got a small arena, and I don't think they sell out their arena every single night. So if they got 8,000 fans there, there's still half the arena to be had. And I bet we fill it up.
Yeah, and also there's the secondary market of how many of those Houston fans are going to stick around for or watch the Husker game, right? And how many are just buying tickets for, I assume it's not most or not all session. Like, you're probably not buying tickets for both games, right? So if you're a Houston fan,
I think it's for one session, isn't it?
I would imagine that if you're a Houston fan and you have a ticket, I guess I don't know how that works. So you only get the one ticket, right, for the all session. Mm-hmm. So how you would sell that if you're a Houston fan to say, hey, you can go to this game, but then we want to go to the Houston game. So I don't necessarily know how it works, right? So I would imagine there's still a lot of activity on the secondary market where a lot of those prices for Nebraska fans to get in are pretty high, but they'll pay it. I still think that you'll notice the Husker presence. It's not, of course, not going to be like Oklahoma City. But to that fact, right, is those session tickets have already been bought by Houston fans because there's probably a 90% chance going in that they know they're going to play in the second weekend.
Yeah, so we'll see. And again, I think Illinois fans travel pretty decently. And so, Iowa fans, once they made it, probably. So we'll see. But I guarantee you, and I think there's probably a pretty big fan base, at least, in the Dallas area, in the Texas area, that they're going to get a chance to be decently close. So I still think there's going to be a lot. I don't know if it's going to match what we just saw, but there's still going to be a huge showing down there. That's for sure.
The Final Four is in Indy, right?
Yes.
You know that?
Yeah.
How far is the drive from here to Indy? I would imagine it's 9 hours. I think that would, if they, cross your fingers, if they made a Final Four, I think there would be a massive presence of Huskers, just because I think it's still somewhat drivable for Husker fans.
Okay, well, let's switch gears a little bit here. First of all, not to bury the lead here, but happy birthday to one Matt Coatney.
Yeah, happy birthday, Coat. I texted him earlier today. Happy birthday to you, you betcha. Happy birthday to you, you betcha. Happy birthday, dear Coat. Happy birthday to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
The voice of Husker Women's Hoops.
Nicely done. Oh, man, heartbreaker on Friday. What a great performance, though. I noticed Julian Asibe posted a graphic, not surprisingly, that the Husker women had the most watched first four game, and it's on record. Did you see that?
I did not see that. That makes sense, though. That tracks.
If you pull up that graphic, if you will. But yeah, I think that it was just all of those games were record numbers, but I think Nebraska's numbers were the highest of all the four. So pretty impressive there, but heartbreaking on Friday. They put together an impressive performance, one of their best performances of the season in that Wednesday night performance. And then Friday had it rolling. Boy, they looked so good against Baylor. We talked about it. It was a great matchup for them. And just had a little bit of a swing in that fourth quarter where Jess Petrie had gotten the flagrant foul. They lost the possession, and then she ends up fouling out. And I think that was a tough swing, and they just couldn't get it rolling. And Baylor ends up taking the lead and then closing out the victory. And I think saw today that Jess Petrie's entered the transfer portal. We'll see how that ends up unfolding. But did you find the numbers?
I did not, but I'm just looking at the box score. Sorry for the last game, and I was just seeing how the quarters, because I remember watching the fourth, and it was kind of, it was that fourth quarter, the way Baylor kind of put their grips on the game, scoring 26 points in that fourth quarter. And that's, of course, when it was won in those final 10 minutes. But you can't speak enough to the experience that you get playing in a tournament. We said this on Monday when we were on the air. This is still a team that can say they won a tournament game, right? They played one of the best games all year against Richmond. So you could say you've won a tournament game, and then you had Baylor on the ropes for a chance to play in a second-round game against the host Duke. And Baylor's a really good team, won 24 games, 13 in the Big 12 this year. So credit to them. I mean, they had them on the ropes up until that fourth quarter.
All right, so yes, I found it. Most watched women's first four on record, up 93%. And yeah, the viewership on ESPN2 for Nebraska versus Richmond, but the most watched first four game on record, 456,000 viewers. So shout out there. There was a lot of people paying attention and a lot of people tweeting and posting about Britt Prince. She and you talked about it too. Moving forward, this is still a team that's got some young pieces coming back, and so to be able to know how to go in and win an NCAA tournament game, and I think it was big for this young core coming back. And then boy, you talk about a team that's reloading. They've got a really, really impressive trio. Freshmen coming in. Again, one of the girls is from Oklahoma, and when I was down there over the weekend, I was chatting with a couple folks about Maddie Stewart. Not Maddie Stewart. Maddie, forgot her last name. My bad. She's really, really impressive. They said she's probably gonna be able to help right away. I think all three of them will be able to help right away. So I think they're gonna be reload and be right back in the conversation. Natalie Potts hopefully coming back from injury, so she'll add some depth as well. What?
Maddie Stewart.
Maddie Stewart. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Yeah, Maddie Stewart. So there we go. All right. The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. All right, we're back to wrap up hour number one next.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
It's another new year and another exciting edition of the Nebraska Lottery's popular Cash Blast promotion. You know how it works. Until March 24th, buy a 2x2 ticket and get a voucher. Enter online for a chance to win a $5,000 or $500 weekly prize. And if your winning voucher is from a 7-day draw ticket, your prize is doubled. So start out your 2026 with a bang. Enter the Cash Blast promotion today. 2x2 top prize odds are 1 in 105,000.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
Husker fans, make your plans now to attend one of the most exciting events in Nebraska sports this year when the Big Red Play hosts the Big Ten Men's Gymnastics Championships at Pinnacle Bank Arena, April 3rd and 4th at 7 p.m. Get your all-session tickets now through Ticketmaster for just $15. Hey, congratulations to Husker Wrestling. Again, another top 5 finish for them. Coming back 3rd place and lots of hardware. Didn't get an individual national title winner, but they've, again, another team that's got a lot of young talent coming back. And I know they were probably disappointed. A lot of those guys go into the season expecting to win national titles, and they wanted to improve from the national runner-up finish last year, but had a couple of guys that weren't quite fully 100%. But to go in there and get a 3rd-place finish, they had some guys that really battled in the wrestlebacks that had some big days to get some bonus points on Friday. So congratulations. They continue to kind of be towards the top of the podium. I mean, nobody was going to catch Penn State. I mean, that's it. We were kind of talking about 2nd place would be like first place, you know?
Christopher was locked in on that. Christopher Sullivan Diaz. He's our wrestling expert. Between you, Christopher, and Damon, I think Damon filled out a bracket for the wrestling championship. So he's all locked in. That's where I get all my wrestling knowledge from. But he said that Penn State was pretty much unbeatable heading in.
So, again, congratulations to Mark Manning, first ever back-to-back top 3 team finishes. So, and Husker softball is rolling, and they've got a huge weekend coming up this weekend.
Yeah, UCLA. This is the one that we've been talking about when you decide, okay, who's going to win the regular season championship in the Big Ten. That there's a good chance it could come down to this weekend. And UCLA, they can swing it, man. You look at some of the numbers that they put up this year offensively, a lot of crooked numbers. A lot of games where they've scored 10 or more runs. They beat up on Rutgers, I believe, this weekend. This is the series in college softball. We should have some good crowds out at Bowling Stadium, and with baseball and softball this weekend, along with the spring game.
Okay, so coming up tomorrow, we will have baseball on the air because of Huskers traveling down to Manhattan to take on Kansas State. So that's a 6 o'clock first pitch. So pregame show starting at 5:30. So no show for us, but we will be back for a full 2 hours coming up on Wednesday. And we are going to have all kinds of Sweet 16 talk, and we'll also have lots of football talk as we get you set for the spring game as well. Probably talk a little bit more softball as well, because that's a huge series, and we'll go a long ways for this team potentially not just hosting a regional, but maybe even a super regional.
That's right. This is a chance to be a top 8 team, continue to build up your RPI. Rhonda's got this team rolling. They kind of trampled Michigan State this weekend. What a weekend it was in the state of Michigan for both ball and bat teams.
Alexis Jensen's art. Give her freshman of the year already.
She can swing it too.
Give it to her. All right, and you got DB lined up for Wednesday too.
DB, and I'm heading out of practice here after the show tonight. So.
All right, well, that is going to do it for Kyle and me. Coming up next, it is our Husker Baseball Hour. Ben McLaughlin going to sit in for us, and the head coach, Will Bolt, coming up next. So keep it here another hour right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Find your next SUV from Woodhouse Ford. Right now, lease the 2026 Ford Explorer Active 4x4 for $399 a month for 36 months and 7,500 miles per year. First payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Or save up to $6,000 off MSRP. Shop online or in-store in Blair, Omaha, and Plattsmouth today. With approved credit, security deposit waived, tax, title, license extra. Vehicle is a retired courtesy loaner. Offers expire March 31st, 2026. See dealer for details.
It's another new year and another exciting edition of the Nebraska Lottery's popular Cash Blast promotion. You know how it works. Until March 24th, buy a 2x2 ticket and get a voucher. Enter online for a chance to win a $5,000 or $500 weekly prize. And if your winning voucher is from a 7-day draw ticket, your prize is doubled. So start out your 2026 with a bang. Enter the Cash Blast promotion today. 2x2 top prize odds are 1 in 105,000.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Once a year, a rhythm thunders across the countryside. It can't be tamed. It can only be driven. It's Ford Truck Month. Let's ride. These trucks, they haul, tow, and conquer everything in their path. So hold on tight and drive the Stampede.
The Stampede is running at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing for 60 months plus $1,000 cash on Super Duty.
Get to Ford Truck Month.
It's time for the Nebraska Baseball Coaches Show.
This ball is shot into right center field. This is sending the outfielders back towards the wall. This ball's going to go off the base of the wall. Sanderson will score. Now here comes Jet Buck being waved home. Dylan Carey on his way to third. Throw to the plate is not in time, and Carey slides into third. A 2 RBI triple for DC. And Nebraska takes a 7-0 lead.
Brought to you by your Midwest Ford dealers.
To vote ready. Butenbach launches one way out of here. Holy cow. Pull the tape measure out. Liftoff for Butenbach, and that puts Nebraska ahead 5-4. Binder comes set. First pitch. Buck swings and crushes one to left center field. Will it carry out of here? Absolutely. Grand slam, home run, Jet Buck. And the boys are banging the bongos here in the top of the 9th inning. The 4th homer of the day, and the Huskers lead it 9-4 here in the 9th.
Now with Will Bolt, here's your host, Ben McLaughlin, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome to the Nebraska Baseball Radio Hour. Ben McLaughlin, happy to be joined in studio by Nebraska head coach Will Bolt. Busy week. I mean, I wasn't sure we'd ever get time to kind of take a breath and assess what was going on. Obviously, a huge 5-game week, and boys just getting a little bit of downtime here before you're right back on a bus and a long bus ride to another really challenging opponent in K-State. I guess getting off the plane, vibes couldn't have been any better. I mean, guys were in a good headspace, and why not after the week they put together?
Yeah, real proud of our guys and how they competed and the toughness and resolve that they showed over the course of the week. Not an easy week by any stretch. You know, play a hard-fought series at home, a couple of big emotional wins there, particularly on Sunday as well with a big comeback. And then we were on a bus on Monday, 4-hour bus ride down to Wichita, practice, and then, 2 games there, bus to Kansas City to fly to Ann Arbor. So, yeah, just a lot of travel. But we played at a very high level all week. And like I said, I'm proud of our guys for just responding and being about the things that winning requires, essentially.
I know coaches and, the team, you're very much in the moment day by day, but when the schedule came out, it's kind of one of my things as a radio guy is just kind of scouting it out, and that jumped out immediately, partly because I probably have PTSD from the California trip last year, but looking at the spring break trip and knowing how long you are away from home, the caliber of opponents playing Wichita in that park's never easy, and then obviously Michigan's always right at the top of the standings of the Big Ten. I mean, to get out of there 4-1, I mean, that's probably about as good as you could ask for.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm proud of how we played, and a lot of different guys stepped up, and you learn something about your team every time you take the field, and just playing on the road, being gone for 6 or 7 days kind of galvanizes the team as well. The bus rides, the hotel, the plane trips, and definitely was a bonus that we got to charter home with the softball team. They were playing at Michigan State, obviously, over the weekend, so got in our own beds about 9:30 last night as opposed to 2 a.m., which sometimes happens. So, yeah, just it was a really good week, and, just a time for us to bond on the road, and, it was great to get out of there with a series win.
I don't think that can be overstated how important that is with guys liking to be around each other, because they are around each other a lot. I always joke that we're around you guys more than we are our own families. Same for you. And you can just see it, even just, yesterday during batting practice, see the guys bunting the ball and how much fun they were having. You see it in the lobbies of the charter planes. You see it, in the hotel lobbies. You can't manufacture that. You can't fake that. And this group seems like they really do enjoy being around each other.
They do. And it's obvious. It's been we noticed that back in August when we first started getting going, maybe even July when we had a bunch of guys here. And just the new guys, how much the veterans were appreciative of kind of their mindsets and attitudes. And you never know what you're going to get until, the real games start too. But just the selflessness of the group, and they've bonded really well. They really like being around each other. And it gave me a sense of calm on Sunday morning, 11 a.m. game. Just the mindset that we showed up to the field, like we were just excited to play baseball, another opportunity to play baseball together. And to be around one another. And so I was going to be at peace with whatever happened in that game because we were right where we needed to be, and from a mentality standpoint to go finish that thing off. And I really think it showed up, when the winning time came around, we made the plays that we needed to make. And, having that chemistry and the culture, it can't be overstated how important that is.
Let's go to the Wichita series first. And you told me this weekend when we were chatting before one of the games that it kind of all started with Cooper. I mean, he kind of set the tone with that. I mean, I think Wichita scored 60 runs or something crazy in that series right before we were down there to really kind of set the tone. And to a man, every guy after that, even into Wednesday, just kind of picked right up where he left off.
Yeah, he did. He set the tone. I mean, that's exactly what he did on that Tuesday, just throwing strikes. And we all knew what their numbers were coming into it, how many runs they'd scored, and the weekend that they were just coming off of. And that was the message was just attack the zone. Like, we're not going to get beat by solo homers. Just attack the strike zone, and that stuff is contagious, just like hitting is. The guys feed off that. They're pounding the strike zone. Next guy takes the ball. Same mentality, pound the strike zone, and we saw that. The bullpen was incredible. Couldn't have done any better, honestly. Literally couldn't do any better than they did in terms of sitting, facing the minimum, and just continuing to pound the zone. And left-handed pitchers that went in, right-handed pitchers, didn't matter. We really did a nice job of setting the tone for the week.
We talk all the time on the air about how hitting's contagious, but pitching is contagious. We saw the other end of it in Auburn, and now we're seeing kind of the other end of it where guys are just picking up the rope and pulling on it. And I mean, I think you throw me a name, and you can just see the confidence growing from each guy, and guys that necessarily haven't been in that spot before. I mean, you think about Katsky. We've talked about him 1,000 times this year with his role in the midweek, also having to come in a lot of grease fires on the weekend. Jay Sean, same way. I mean, it's pretty cool to see these guys just growing into their uniforms.
Yeah, no doubt. And Jay Sean he's had more bases loaded appearances than probably anybody in the country, and I think they're about 0 for 5 or 6 with 5 or 6 strikeouts against him. So yeah, he's done a great job, and it's been good to see some guys emerge. I mean, Timmerman had a great week. He's feeling great now. Clark, it continues to just not give up any barrels, and just it's been really good to see that. So there's up and down the staff, it's been contagious, and we're realizing our potential here. And again, a lot of it starts with the starting pitchers giving us some length, because then you're only having to cover X amount of innings. And you alluded to the Auburn weekend.
Yeah.
We had to cover a ton of innings, and it kind of got a little sideways on us. So everybody's roles become a little more defined when the starters are doing their job.
Let's talk about that Friday game with Michigan. You knew it was going to be a well-pitched game. It always is in those types of Friday games. And, I thought Ty finding the curveball late and the slider late, really allowed him to get deeper than maybe we thought after 2 or 3 innings. And it was just a well-pitched game, just on the wrong side of a couple of 2-out knocks there. But again, I think leaving the park, even after a loss, is like, all right, like sometimes that's baseball. It's just the way it happens. And the guys didn't seem to be shook by it at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I just think that we were just determined to come out on Saturday and be better. It is baseball, and it wasn't, again, from a lack of confidence or not being ready to play or anything like that. We ran into a savvy veteran pitcher who didn't throw a single ball over the middle of the plate. And, we helped him out a little bit at times, but 1 for 9 runners in scoring position. Like you said, they got a couple of big knocks, and, that's Friday night in conference play. And, but yeah, to see our response, the hitters really came back with a vengeance, and, Jasa was just amazing just in terms of when we score the shutdown, and it came pretty quick, and just continuing to attack the strike zone. And that was a great response by our guys.
I've seen enough college baseball to know sometimes after an inning or two, a pitcher's got it, whether it's our guy or their guy, and whoever's in that lineup's in trouble. And you knew that after about 4 hitters that Michigan was in trouble with Yasa on Saturday. The cutter slider combination, not having to use 96. I mean, people think we're crazy when we talk about it, that this day and age is like everything's built around that. And he was unbelievable. That was the best I've ever seen him.
It's the best he's been in a Husker uniform, that's for sure. And we've said that a couple of times now here in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So he Yeah, and it was not a fun day to hit just in terms of the temperatures and some of those things. So it was important that we throw strikes because it's not a real fun day to hit, especially when you're facing a guy like that. So his ability to just come out and just set the tone with strikes early in that game had them on their heels a little bit, and obviously our offense just kept punching, and he just gained more confidence from that. So both things played off really well on each other on Saturday.
And you mentioned to me something that we talked about on the air. The second inning of Saturday's game, you got 2 quick outs, and then Stokes, I think, was in a 3-2 count. And I think I said to Nick, this is a sneaky big pitch of the inning right here. I'm thinking he's either going to walk, strike out, put the ball in play. He ends up singling, and it just kind of kept going from him. He didn't score in the inning, but with the way Yasa was pitching, you felt like Michigan couldn't breathe on Saturday. And fortunately for you guys, never stopped the whole day offensively, and just I think the depth of the lineup really showed its head on Saturday.
Yeah, you said it. That was kind of the turning point in that game. Lally had, we just needed to get in their bullpen early, and had he gone 3 up, 3 down in that inning, the game could have been completely different. But we made him throw a ton of pitches, and even though we didn't score, we set up a bases loaded chance, and he ended up throwing 20+ innings, and we got him out in the third. So. Those are things that aren't missed on our guys. They've been around, and we've talked about those type of things, and we track those type of things to understand the nuances of how to win a game, how to win a pitch, how to win a series, because it's not just about your at bat. It's like what are you doing to help set up your team? If you foul off 8 pitches and strike out, in a lot of ways that's a win, so you're just never out of the fight, and that's the thing. But you also have to have, like you said, you have to have that depth in the lineup where you don't feel like there's ever that lull of like, well, let's just get it back to the top. I mean, Red Stokes has got an OPS over 1,000 right now. I mean, he's swinging the bat very, very well. He's getting on base. And the guys at the bottom of the order are more than doing their jobs to set it up for the top.
Yeah, and I think that, again, to your point, I mean, there was, even in the game yesterday, you're looking down and Stokes homers, and then you're right back to the top. Moyer draws a walk, and all the life is in our side of the dugout. Let's just talk about yesterday's game now, I suppose. Let's just start with Gavin. He never really looked super comfortable out there, but still to bulldog his way through and eat some innings. And I think he finished on a 5-pitch inning, if my memory serves.
Yeah, that was his best inning. Was his last
one. He got out of there in 5 pitches, but it was clear he never really had maybe his best stuff, but to find your way through 4 with what we had left in the bullpen, I think you're probably pretty happy with that.
Yeah, that, and we had the luxury of going to the bullpen after only 4 innings because he did battle. He got through the lineup twice. We didn't want him to throw the 3rd time through the order. It just didn't have the normal finish to the fastball that he normally has. Velo was down a little bit. So he did. He definitely battled to really keep us in that game. And we can hand it off to a guy like Kasky, who you feel ultra confident in, and we were going to use him, to win the series, to win the game. And obviously he's been starting on Tuesdays for us, so we changed course there. But, he contributed to the win yesterday, and that's all that matters.
We'll get to some of the swings later in the game, but it quickly started to feel like Friday all over again with how quick we were going through the lineup and just nothing was happening offensively. I mean, I don't know if it's hyperbole to say that was one of the biggest swings of the year from Stokes out of the 9 spot, and just to see the life in the dugout after that was enormous.
Yeah, big swing, kind of ignited the spark there, and then DC did it again to lead off. I think it was the next inning, maybe. It was to lead off the next inning. We were down a run at that point, but it kind of ignited that rally there. Miller, followed with a big 2-strike hit, and we're kind of off to the races when it comes to that. So, the home run, again, we're not going to necessarily rely on the home run, but it was good to see that we did finish that game off with 4 because we were capable of doing that. There's some guys that have been scuffling a little bit that haven't showed up, and Butenbeck, man, that was a cool moment to see him come off the bench, drive in a big run, and have the game-winning home run was pretty special.
Sometimes you can kind of see it happen before it happens, and with Max, particularly in the 9th inning, you didn't necessarily it looked like a different guy in the box, just the way he was handling himself, the pitches that he took previously to get to that count. And I don't know that I've seen a ball hit harder than that. That thing was, the second he hit it, you could just look in their dugout and their heads just go up in the air. I think I said on the air, that was a month worth of frustration on one swing right there. And to just see him kind of come to life after that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Max had a great week. He's had a great attitude with, some of the struggles, and it's part of baseball. But he this week was a very important week. He got in the Wichita State game, pinch hit, ended up being a left-on-left situation, but had a 2-strike backside line drive, and I was like, all right, like that's something to build on. And his BP over the course of the week was great. He felt like he had made some mechanical adjustments that allowed him to feel like he's moving the bat better. And Sunday morning, man, the show he put on was about as impressive as I've ever seen. So he went into that game with some confidence, and we made that move to put him in left field, and knowing that his spot in the lineup was going to come up. So happy for him. And again, that's why it takes a team to win, is because you never know when your name's going to get called.
And again, he was in the bottom part of the lineup. You kind of reset the stage, gets back to Buck, who was, I think, hitless on the day, but he crushed 2 balls to center on Friday and was hitless, had a couple of hits on Saturday, and it's been pretty cool to see his power show up in some big moments too. Yeah, I mean, he's got, I think 3 of his 4 home runs have come in conference, so some big swings there. And obviously you feel much, much differently going into the 9th inning, the bottom of the 9th inning with a 5-run lead as opposed to a 1-run lead there. But I mean, that was he's ready to hit, and he got a fastball over the middle of the plate, and he didn't miss it in an 0-0 count. And that's a kill shot. That's a backbreaker right there. And good to see Buck. I think he came up with the bases loaded maybe the inning before and got a little bit unlucky on a ball that I think he hit pretty hard up the middle. So big swing by him, and a guy that's been right in the middle of a lot of great things. So we talk. And I know it's talked about in the dugout, a lot of times in those types of games, it's going to come down to 1 pitch or 2 pitches. And really, you think about the bases loaded moments, right? I mean, we talked about Buck, but Jay-Sean against their best hitter.
Right.
And there's really not much you can tell a guy at that point. It's either he's going to execute or he's not. And, you think about that sequencing of that at-bat. He got behind. He was able to get a fastball, challenged him on a heater to get him on 2-2. I think it was a slider that he threw to get full, and then to go back to the fastball against their best hitter.
Right.
I mean, what's that like to watch for a guy that, before this year hasn't really had to do it?
Yeah, and he's just he just has the presence on the mound that you want, and that exudes confidence in those big situations. And the more that he's been put in those spots, the more he learns and grows from those situations. And all he knows is that he's been successful. Big sequence there to keep it a 2-run game. Again, much like the main series, same type situation. Game could have gone completely sideways. Kept it in a manageable spot so our offense could go to work.
Yeah, it was really cool to see. The team baseball yesterday is something that just stuck with me. You had, obviously, it wasn't perfect. You had some pitches that I'm sure you want back on both sides, but guys just picked each other up, and I'm sure that was the message to them, was that's how you win games. That's how you're going to have to win in this league. And it's not going to be just Sunday and done. It's probably going to happen tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, it's going to be Friday against another good team in Indiana.
Right. Yeah, that's what it takes. I mean, it's not just if you just have a well-pitched game and you don't show up offensively or defensively, you don't win. If you just play good defense but you don't do the other 2 things well, you typically don't win. If you just hit and you don't pitch, usually, you can get lucky a few times, but you got to play together. And these things they all balance each other out, and they all play off each other. And that's why the chemistry is important, because the guys are pulling for each other and they want to have each other's backs. And that's something that easier said than done. And these guys, like I said, have worked really hard at understanding what it takes to win, and knowing that it's a day-to-day process. It doesn't guarantee anything else but a new opportunity. And we got a big week coming up with those opportunities.
I think part of the reason the vibes were so high is what the basketball team was doing. That was really cool to have that going on. We were able to get 1 game in, get back to the hotel and watch it. I know it was early on Sunday, but I mean, everybody was talking about it. The guys were talking about it. Coaches, radio guy, but we were all talking about it. How cool was that to not only win on Thursday against Troy, but to bounce back and about as good of a finish as you could have had against Vandy.
Yeah, that was it was up way past my bedtime on Saturday night, but well worth it. Yeah, real happy for Fred and his staff, and man, that team has been so fun to watch all year. And we talked about it as a team on Sunday morning when I met up with the group before we went to stretch. Was, you guys all watched the game last night. That's what desperation looks like in terms of knowing that you don't win, you have no tomorrow, and two heavyweights going at it, and our guys, man, they want it, and they've wanted it all year, and it's been evident, and it's easy to see. It's tangible. It's easy to see when you have that. And we've drawn on some of those things from that group, and there's just a lot of lessons to be had in all different sports. I mean, a lot of great things going on in Husker athletics, the wrestling, softball, women's basketball. I mean, you name it. It's been fun.
I've been lucky enough to spend a lot of time with you over the years, but I've actually been lucky enough to have been around Coach Hoiberg and been around his teams and the way he coaches. I think you guys are very similar in the way that you want to build teams and culture and kind of that gritty, hard-nosed type. How has it been, with him and kind of sharing conversations back and forth? I know you're different sports, but coaching philosophies are pretty similar. Yeah,
I just think that, Fred, first and foremost, is a great person, and I think that he just comes across as very genuine, and I'm sure that speaks to, when he's going to recruit guys and trying to bring guys in his program, he attracts a certain type of player. And I think just understanding what it takes to win at Nebraska, no matter what the sport is. Culture's right at the top, and that's really anywhere. But just having the right guys in the locker room, and it's so important to have guys that want to be around each other. And I heard Lawrence's, I think his comment was, we get to keep practicing and get another practice together, and that's the mindset that you want to have. Is that you get to show up, and you get to have experiences with your teammates. Because that's what galvanizes teams.
No question. Contact 811 2 days before you dig to protect your underground utilities and yourself. It's free, it's easy, it's the law. We'll step aside for our first break. More with Coach coming up next.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
It's another new year and another exciting edition of the Nebraska Lottery's popular Cash Blast promotion. You know how it works. Until March 24th, buy a 2x2 ticket and get a voucher. Enter online for a chance to win a $5,000 or $500 weekly prize. And if your winning voucher is from a 7-day draw ticket, your prize is doubled. So start out your 2026 with a bang. Enter the Cash Blast promotion today. 2x2 top prize odds are 1 in 105,000.
Born with power. Tested by time. It's Ford Truck Month. Woo! And this is Ford F-150. Part of F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 49 years straight. Hop in and drive the Stampede.
Get $6,750 cash or 0 for 60 with 0 down and no payments for 90 days, plus $1,000 cash on F-150.
Get to Ford Truck Month.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. From the chant of Husker power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers. Go Gig Red. Visit allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
It's another new year and another exciting edition of the Nebraska Lottery's popular Cash Blast promotion. You know how it works. Until March 24th, buy a 2x2 ticket and get a voucher. Enter online for a chance to win a $5,000 or $500 weekly prize. And if your winning voucher is from a 7-day draw ticket, your prize is double. So start out your 2026 with a bang. Enter the Cash Blast promotion today. 2x2 top prize odds are 1 in 105,000.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Nebraska Baseball Radio Hour. Ben McLaughlin joined in studio by Nebraska head baseball coach Will Bolt. Talked a lot about last week, but we can't celebrate a 4-in-1 week at the end of March. There's a lot of season left, and there's another really hungry baseball team ready to get after us. I love that we get these games on the schedule with Kansas and K-State and Wichita. Not many places we can bust in the midweek, but they're always high-quality matchups that, again, like we've seen it go both ways with teams being ready to play, not being ready to play, both being ready to play, coming down to one pitch. And I know the guys are probably eager to dig their spikes in for another fight tomorrow.
Yeah, we get to learn more about our team this week, and we're excited for that opportunity to go down to Manhattan and play a really good Kansas State team. It's got a great offense and some really good arms and a lot of good athletes. So get a 2.5-hour bus ride in and be ready to get after it again tomorrow night. Today's an off day for our guys and recovery and some of those things. So excited to go down there, and that's really our entire focus right now is on Tuesday's game and not looking to the weekend.
We talked, I think, maybe before the main series, that you guys are actually able to get a couple of full practices, and it's pretty rare this time with midweeks, with travel. Let's not forget these guys are still in school. I mean, There's a lot going on right now, but how valuable is that for the development piece to when guys like Butenbach aren't in the lineup to get swings against live pitching, when maybe a guy has a bad outing and they're looking to go shake that off and fine-tune a couple of things on the mound, to where you're confident putting those guys in the lineup or on the mound?
Yeah, no, it's when we talk about having a process and being sold out to the process and trusting the process. I mean, that all that goes into it, because you don't take any day for granted, and every rep counts, and so whether it's a live at bat, whether it's just a BP session, just a film session. There's always going to be ways to get better. And so whether you have 2 practices, 1 practice, or no practices, it's just you're always finding ways to improve. And the key is do you have a group of guys that are hungry to improve, that have that growth mindset? And the best teams and best players have that growth mindset of like my talent and what I'm doing now is it's fluid. It's not static. Like I can keep getting better. And so just there's a bunch of guys that haven't pitched a whole lot that I still know are going to have a big role on our staff before it's all said and done. Maybe some guys that hadn't swung it the way that we wanted them to swing it yet, or how they wanted to swing it yet, are going to be right in the middle of things. And you just never know, like I said, when your name's going to get called. If you stayed trusting the process. When you have your opportunity, you're going to make the most of it. When you're riding the waves of emotion and kind of, just wearing it on your sleeve, probably not going to get it done when it matters.
We talked a little bit about that Auburn series, particularly with your rotation. All of those guys have bounced back since then. And,
right.
and maybe that's probably a little bit worrisome when, you really don't have a single guy that weekend that, that did their job. And now from the outside noise, people are asking questions. But it kind of started with Ty. And then something that I think I asked you yesterday or the day before in pregame is they seem to just pick up where the last guy left off on the mound. And you've seen it with Gavin, and you hoped he took steps forward, Carson as well. How have you liked the way the guys have just kind of stabilized things in your rotation?
Yeah, and come to find out, Auburn's a pretty good team, and that's a pretty good environment, to play in. So there's a lot to be learned from those things. And again, later in the season, potentially those guys had a tough first inning. Probably send them back out there and see if we can stabilize the game a little bit. It just didn't make sense, in that moment to send guys back, the third week of the season when they threw 40 pitches in one inning, So those are things that do factor into it as well. But yeah, just seeing them again, okay, it's time to go to work. Like, where do I need to improve? Like, what do I need to do to make sure that I'm ready this time when the opportunity may have passed me by last week? And my preparation, how I play catch, the things I look at in video, conversations I have with Coach Childress and Nicholson, like just all those things they have to take into account, and they do that. And like I said, this group of guys is very, very hungry, and they are very, very much wanting to improve, and they don't want to just stay static. They want to keep moving forward. And that's the mindset, for us as coaches, we have to continue to impress upon them of how important that is, because a good week only means that you have an opportunity to do it again the next. And a good game means you have the opportunity to do it again the next day. And that's all it is.
The other thing too, is we've had some guys banged up for a while now, and other guys have had kind of just had to plug and play. It was great to see Mike and Miller back in the lineup this last weekend. I know we kept joking about it. I joked about it with you. I think he had to beat out 3 infield choppers. I think he had a ball hit to center field where I think he was probably content at 2, but stretched it to a triple. Obviously, Jeske still, trying to find his way back. And you kind of just have guys that have been nicked up and out of the lineup and, kind of making it work, and that's just part of the sport.
Yeah, and that's why you need depth. That's why you need guys that are engaged and ready to help out when their name is called. So, yeah, Miller was out a month. He started, and had a big hand in that 10-1 win against Florida State on that Sunday, and he hadn't played since until this weekend. So, yeah, he's feeling good, healthy. He's still probably not quite ready to catch yet, but we could play him in the outfield as his workload starts to increase. But swung the bat well. On the barrel 5 or 6 times this weekend, right in the middle of a lot of big rallies. Brings a great personality, to the team and line up another left-handed bat. And Jeske, he's been swinging the bat incredible. Again, talk about batting practice in these sessions where you can keep improving. He hasn't missed a beat. He's been able to hit. He's just not able to run. And he's been available to pinch hit. We just haven't used him in that spot. So I'm hoping that we can get him back sooner rather than later, maybe in a DH spot first. But he's getting closer, and our lineup becomes even better when he's healthy.
I don't know if it's irony or what, but you got the 2 most electric personalities on the team with Jeske and Mike, and kind of going through it. We kind of joke about, but how does that help? Those guys, I've never seen Mike and not smiling. Yeah. He's always joking around, doing something. We all know Jeske's personality at this point, but their positive attitudes when going through something like this, especially an injury that lingers. How has that been for them to just kind of nurse through some adversity?
Yeah, it's incredibly difficult to put that aside, because when they weren't playing, and Mike, and it hurt him, and he kind of wore it for a little bit, and then understood, okay, like I have an infectious personality to make sure I'm rubbing off these guys on the right way. And we've put Jeske in charge of the grit board, so he's taking care of the grit board. So all the stuff that the grit stuff that we keep track of, he's in charge of that, and he's got a different movie quote that he puts on there every day, and he gets it. He gets the guys going in the dugout when it comes to those things.
Yeah, he was putting on a show during bunting and batting practice yesterday. I think we were trying to get a video on him down there, but it just didn't quite happen. And you need those guys. You know, like especially in a sport like this where it messes with your emotions. You're sore. You're tired. You got to, long bus rides. It's cold when the first pitch gets moved up 2 hours. Those guys are just the life of the party. It brings everybody else up.
100%. Quiet teams are no fun because it's just a bunch of guys that are internalizing everything and just kind of staying to themselves. It's like you've got some personalities on your team. It is infectious. They making each other laugh and keeping it loose. And, you just don't make it too serious. I mean, certainly these guys are, when it comes to competing, they know the intensity level it takes to win, but at the same time, there needs to be some levity involved, and there's some good personalities in this group, and that's part of the reason that we love being around them.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. We'll step aside, another quick break with Coach. We got more coming up.
Once a year, a rhythm thunders across the countryside. It can't be tamed. It can only be driven. Truck month. Let's ride. These trucks, they haul, tow, and conquer everything in their path. So hold on tight and drive the Stampede.
The Stampede is running at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing for 60 months plus $1,000 cash on Super Duty.
Get to Ford Truck Month.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Lease the 2025 Cadillac Lyriq Luxury 3 for $699 a month for 24 months and 10,000 miles per year. Or receive up to $8,000 in savings on the 2025 Cadillac XT5 Luxury. Shop Woodhouse Cadillac today. With approved credit, tax, title, license extra. First payment $299 doc fee due at signing. Subject to current rebates and inventory. Stock number KK250401 is courtesy transportation vehicle with 2,649 miles. Stock number KK250527 is courtesy transportation vehicle with 1,323 miles. Offer expires March 31st, 2026. See dealer for details.
And now, introducing the starting lineup of your Nebraska Huskers. Starring Allo Fiber. At number 1, Allo Internet. At number 2, no satellite dish required. Direct TV through Allo. And at number 3, Allo Mobile. Allo Fiber, the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of Husker Nation. Level up your game and go to allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Born with power. Tested by time. It's drive the Stampede.
Get $6,750 cash or 0 for 60 with 0 down and no payments for 90 days, plus $1,000 cash on F-150.
Get to Ford Truck Month.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles, or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Nebraska Baseball Radio Hour. Ben McLaughlin, Will Bolt back with you. The newly ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers. And, you know, you kind of felt it coming. The way that the team had played, 4 in 1 week on the road, RPI's in good shape, strength of schedules, and all the metrics that you need to be there to be in those types of conversations. Nice to see a little pat on the back, even though I know it's not where the season hasn't ended, but it's always nice to get that recognition.
Yeah, and we don't need validation from anybody in the inner circle for us to feel like we have a good team. We feel like, you know, we've got a good group of guys that want to win, and but at the same time, the exposure is a good thing. It's to get your name out there. You know, one of the goals that we have and the things that we want to do. I mean, you've got to be in the national spotlight, and so the earlier the better is great, honestly. And now the key is just keep winning, just keep finding a way to win, and just keep playing good baseball, and you know, keep having a solid mindset and trust in the process, and you know, then you got a chance to keep climbing. And if you make it more than that, if you think about, oh man, you know, now all of a sudden we have a number in front of our name, you know, then that's when you get into trouble. I just think you just keep your head down and embrace the expectations that you have, and nobody's expectations externally are going to be any higher than what we have in our circle. So good to have the recognition, and just got to keep going.
You mentioned something, finding ways to win. That's something this team's done. You guys have won in a variety of different ways. We've seen pitching, we've seen the long ball, obviously yesterday, you know, heady base running. That's something we haven't talked about yet. 2 base running plays yesterday that completely changed the game, with Mike in at second and Mac Moyer giving us the lead on a ground ball with Jeter's speed beating that out. I mean, those are winning plays that don't show up in any box score.
Yeah, and it's a big part of baseball. It's just you know, the extra 90 feet, the hidden 90 feet that maybe not show up in the box score, but you got to take advantage of, and how precious those 90 feet are too. Just not making the silly boneheaded mistakes either, where you're just running into tags or getting doubled off on line drives and some of those things. So there were quite a few of those situations. I think in the Wichita State game, before we blew it open, the bases were loaded. Stokes hits a missile at second base, and the freshman doesn't get doubled off at second, you know, and it extends that inning, and we end up scoring. And Miller's read on Butenbeck's blooper, you know, that scored a run there. 1 out, he's thinking score, and he knew where the left fielder was and got a great read off the bat. And if he doesn't, then we don't score that run, and who knows what happens in that inning. But yeah, Mac's play, you know, we talk about that. Don't run into a tag there, especially in those force out situations where you have a chance to have a double play. If he just keeps going, it's a tag, throw to first base, innings completely potentially squandered there. I can't remember if it was no outs or 1 out.
There was one. That's what ended the inning.
Yeah, so obviously a huge play in that game.
And the impressive thing about it is, I can't tell you how many times I've seen a guy just try to dodge the tag and, you know, just keep going. But not only did he stop, but the wherewithal to run back to first base and induce the chase.
Right.
The second that, I think it was Turner at that time, the second that he took a step to first, you weren't going to get Jeter.
No.
And it scored a run. It gave us the lead.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, huge play. Baseball player making a high IQ baseball play. No shock there. Mac Moyer, he loves baseball. He's a baseball rat. He's, like I said before, if he's not playing baseball, he's thinking about it, or playing MLB The Show, or talking about it. So, yeah, big play there, and those guys help you win.
We like to say that some guys fit a Husker uniform. Mac Moyer fits pretty well in a Husker uniform. The other guy that's fit is Jeter Worsley. Obviously, offensively, he didn't get out to the start that he wanted. But something I say pretty much every at bat, he never looks outmatched. He's always up there. He's always competing, whether he's sticking his nose in there and getting hit by a pitch, getting a ground ball to the right side, getting on base, stealing a base running. All of that's great. But the way he's handled behind the plate with Mikan's injury isn't getting enough attention, too. I mean, he's had to shoulder a lot of load here in just over a month.
Yeah, he has. I mean, he's caught a lot of games, and he's got youth on his side and athleticism on his side, so he's built for it. But yeah, he's done a real nice job. Moved him up to the 2-hole. He's been all over the barrel. Had some really good at bats. And when he gets on base, he's typically scoring. Another really heady base runner. So yeah, has really done a nice job there, and good to see a true freshman come in, and Grigo same way. Again, opportunities arose for him. Out of injury, some of that stuff. But he also was in the mix because we felt like he had that winning DNA as well. And he showed that, in high school just like Jeter did. And it's really shown up again. When he's come to Nebraska, he said, Coach, I want to play. I want to find a way to help the team. He's a shortstop. He's playing right field, But, yeah, just good sign of a healthy program is, you don't only have your veterans and guys that have a ton of innings and at bats that are contributing, but you've got young players that are contributing at a high level too.
Coach Bolt with us here for just a little bit longer here on the Nebraska Baseball Radio Hour. We'll step aside for our last break, and we'll wrap it up with Coach after this.
Now's the time to save on trucks at Woodhouse Chevy. Lease the 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500 Custom Crew Cab 4x4 for $399 a month. Or save up to $10,000 off MSRP on retired courtesy 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500s when financed through dealer. Woodhouse Chevy. Together, let's drive. With approved credit, tax title license extra, $299 doc fee due at signing. Retired courtesy loaners. Qualifying trade-in of 2011 or newer vehicle. Lease for 39 months, 10,000 miles plus first payment. Finance based on manufacturer rebates. Expires March 31st, 2026. See dealer for details.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
Back one final time with Coach Bolt, the Nebraska Baseball Radio Hour. Ben McLaughlin, Coach Bolt with you. Before we get started here in our last segment, time now for our Nebraska Lottery Baseball Trivia question. The first person to text the correct answer to 402-413-2400 will receive $100 in Nebraska Lottery scratch tickets. Again, that number 402-413-2400. What is the most amount of wins Nebraska baseball has recorded in a single NCAA tournament in program history? Again, the most amount of wins Nebraska baseball has recorded in a single NCAA tournament in program history. Again, be the first person to text that answer, 402-413-2400, and receive a prize from the Nebraska Lottery. It's the Nebraska Lottery's Cash Blast promotion. Buy a 2x2 ticket. Enter the voucher number by March 24th for a chance to win at $5,000 or $500. Your prize is doubled if you're winning vouchers from a 7-day draw ticket. 2x2 top prize odds, 1 in 105,000. Last segment with the coach, we already talked about, obviously, K-State, but it's been interesting looking at some scores around the league through the first couple of weekends. And, man, you mentioned USC. UCLA is obviously getting a lot of the limelight, being the number one ranked team in the country, but I think UCLA lowered their team already this weekend. It's ridiculous what some teams are doing. Northwestern able to steal a game from Oregon. I know you guys aren't doing a ton of scoreboard watching at this point of the year, but this is what you sign up for in this league. You know what you're getting into. We know what we're getting into with Indiana coming to town next week.
Yeah, the league is as good as it's ever been. There's good coaches. There's great players. There's teams that are making commitments to baseball. And it's hard to win. I mean, everybody has good players. It doesn't matter in conference, out of conference, mid-major. I mean, everybody has good baseball players. So you have to show up and play well on any given day to win. And it's been incredible to see what some of these teams have done. With USC's pitching staff and kind of the long win streaks that they've put together. And, UCLA obviously has kind of been wire to wire number one so far. And Oregon, has had a really good start. And there's just a lot of teams in there that have played really, really well. So, again, we just got to keep winning. Obviously, a little more emphasis this year to finish in the top four. With the new tournament format. Just got to keep going.
What is that like from a coaching standpoint? I know, you've got so much trust in your staff. These guys have been around baseball a ton, but, getting the scouting reports and, obviously K-State, we've seen them already, but, the quick turnaround, then now the focus on the Indiana to get hot, cold zones, to get, defensive alignments, all those things to where it's going to put your guys in the best position.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. There's not a whole lot of secrets anymore with all the video analysis that's out there with Synergy and 643 Analytics and some of those things. So, yeah, just our guys put a ton of work and time and effort to get the defensive alignment. It's one thing to have a good fielding percentage, which we've done a great job of. It's another thing to be in the right spot very often, and we have been in the right spot a lot. Coach Sirianni has done a great job, and Coach Harvell, just having the guys in the right spot defensively. I do think it helps with the pitch comm, the guys being able to know what pitch is coming, kind of anticipate where to be and some of those things. And, the staff puts in a lot of, Childress and Nicholson put in a ton of time on the pitching side of things. And Connor Behrens he wears a ton of hats in our program. I mean, he's director of ops, but also, helps out in a variety of different ways, to make sure our offensive players are put in the right position to succeed as well.
Coach, we appreciate you coming in. I know it's going to be another tough week, as they all are, but hopefully a little downtime and right back on a bus here in just less than 24 hours.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Thanks. Coach Bolt with us here, Nebraska Baseball Radio Hour. That's it for us. We got plenty more Sports Nightly ahead. Huskers back in Manhattan taking on the K-State Wildcats tomorrow night. Have a good night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Get behind the wheel of America's favorite truck from Woodhouse Ford. Lease the Ford F-150 Super Crew for $389 a month for 36 months and 7,500 miles per year. First payment and $299 dock fee due at signing. Or save up to $15,000 off MSRP. Shop Woodhouse Ford online or in-store in Blair, Omaha, and Plattsmouth today. With approved credit, security deposit waived, tax, title, license extra. Vehicle is a retired courtesy loaner. Offers expire March 31st, 2026. See dealer for details.
It's another new year and another exciting edition of the Nebraska Lottery's popular Cash Blast promotion. You know how it works. Until March 24th, buy a 2x2 ticket and get a voucher. Enter online for a chance to win a $5,000 or $500 weekly prize. And if your winning voucher is from a 7-day draw ticket, your prize is doubled. So start out your 2026 with a bang. Enter the Cash Blast promotion today. 2x2 top prize odds are 1 in 105,000.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Once a year, a rhythm thunders across the countryside. It can't be tamed. It can only be driven. It's Ford Truck Month. Let's ride. These trucks, they haul, tow, and conquer everything in their path. So hold on tight and drive the Stampede.
The Stampede is running at your Midwest Ford dealers. Get 0% financing for 60 months plus $1,000 cash